So welcome back to my channel, and this video for today is all about your week 12 modules. So this week 12 modules, just like the title, is all about the atoms. So in this video, I'm going to discuss to you the history of the atoms, who are the discoverers, what are the parts of the atoms, and how will we compute, or how we can compute the protons, the neutrons, and electrons of a certain elements. So those are the things that I'm going to discuss to you in this video. So sit back and relax and enjoy the video. So let's start with the video. First, I'm going to discuss to you the history, a short history of the atom. Who are the discoverers of the atom? First, we have here the Greeks. The Greeks are the one who think or imagine that there's a certain thing called atom. And we have here Democritus from Abdera, or Democritus of Abdera. He thinks that there is an atom, and he said that that atom is indestructible. So hindi siya pwedeng mahati-hati into different parts or smaller parts. And he also said that an atom is shaped like this. Yes, like that. It's like a spherical or circle shaped thing. So that is an atom for Democritus. And a lot of people also, they didn't like the idea of atom. That idea was rejected by Plato and Aristotle. So they believe that you could keep on dividing matter in smaller and smaller pieces forever. So they contradict with each other. Democritus says that the atom is indestructible, while Plato and Aristotle says that it is destructible. So if a certain thing is a whole piece like this, shaped like this, like the one that Democritus said, that the shape of an atom, and according to Plato and Aristotle, that those shaped or those atoms can be divided into smaller parts or smaller pieces. Now, let's go to Lucretius. Lucretius is the one who created a poem called the Rerum Natura, or in English, On the Nature of Things. Because of Lucretius, because of the poem, the Rerum Natura, it helps the atomic theory survive. So now we really come up with the idea that there is an atom. So it is because of that poem. Now, aside from those people or the Greeks that formulated the idea that there is an atom, we also have here Galileo. Galileo Galilei is also a Greek. And just like Galileo and Newton, they also have an idea that matter consists of an atom. So that's their idea. But okay, so this idea was reflected on Newton's work called Optics. Robert Boyle, 1661. He came up with a definition of an element that we still use in our times today. He said that an element is any substance that cannot be broken down into simpler substance. So an element cannot be broken down into simpler substance. It's according to Robert Boyle. But centuries later, when Anton Lavoisier, or Anton Lavoisier, whatever is the pronunciation, but Anton Lavoisier, he's a chemist. He wrote that if by the term elements we mean to express those simple and indivisible atoms of which matter is composed. So Boyle's and Lavoisier descriptions of an element supported the concept or existence of indivisible and indestructible particles. So both of them come up with an idea that there is really a particles that is indivisible and indestructible. So this is the atom, but they don't know the term atom yet. Okay, so now let's come up with John Dalton. So John Dalton is an English scientist, and he also explained that there is a tiny indestructible sphere with mass, so may bigat. So because of his contribution to the atomic theory of matter, he is known as the fathers of modern physical science. So in your module on page 91, you can see there the model of Dalton's. Dalton hypothesized 3 things according about the atoms. So you can see it on page 91. And according to Dalton, that there is a tiny indestructible sphere with mass, so may bigat. And this mass became known as atomic weight. So atomic weight, we can see that in the periodic table. As you can see, in periodic table, there's different weight masses. There's different masses that is written in different elements in the periodic table. Okay, so since an atom is so small, it is impossible to isolate and weigh individual atoms. So now, Dalton established relative atomic weights. So we have here John Jacob Berzelius, a Swedish chemist and one of the founders of modern chemistry, suggested that the mass of oxygen, which is 16, should serve as a standard of comparison since it combined readily with many elements. Now, what is the unit used in measuring the mass or the weight of an element? So we have here the AMU, or the atomic mass unit. So if you can see that unit, or unit in a certain number, like for example 16 AMU. So it says it means that 16 atomic mass unit is the weight of a certain element, which is the oxygen. So there are different features or parts of an atom. So we have here the electrons, the protons, and the neutrons. Now, what are the differences of those parts? Today, I will discuss the 3 parts of an atom. We have here the electrons, the protons, and the neutrons. Okay, now let's discuss first who are the persons or the scientists behind the discoveries of those parts. Okay, so now let's come up with electrons, because the electron is the first one to be discovered. So electrons is discovered first by William Crookes, but they didn't give the name electrons yet. They said, or they call it cathode rays. The cathode rays is revised by J.J. Thomson. So J.J. Thomson already changed the name cathode rays into electrons that we use that term electron nowadays. So electron is discovered by J.J. Thomson. Now, let's go to the electrons is discovered by Mr. or Sir J.J. Thomson. Sir J.J. Thomson says that in this cathode rays is what we call now as electrons. Electrons has a negatively charged particles. So that is the part of an atom that is negatively charged. And aside from that, Sir Eugene Goldstein, he is a German, he says that this negatively charged particle is attracted to another charged particle of an atom, and that comes with the protons, or it is the positively charged part of an atom. As we know, if opposite charges, it also attracts each other. So electron is negative and proton is positive. So they attract each other, and that's why they formulated the two parts of an atom, which is the protons and the electrons. And they said that aside from that, there are also another part. May isa pa daw na part ng atom. Now, we have Sir James Chadwick. He is an English scientist. Now, he says that there is a certain part in an atom called the neutron, which has the same mass as the protons. So, protons and neutrons has the same mass. But the difference was the neutron has no charge at all, so it is neutral. So remember, we have the electron, which is the negatively charged particle of an atom. We have also the protons that is positively charged, and we also have the neutron, which is neutral charge, no charge at all. So it's neither positive, it's neither negative. Okay, so remember the charges. Electron, negative. Protons starts with letter P, positively charged. And neutron starts with N, and it is neutral, no charge at all. So that is the different charges, different parts of an atom, and different scientists who discovered them. Okay, so now, paano natin, okay, Tagalog na, computation na tayo. Okay, so paano natin pwedeng makompute yung tinatawag na bigat ng isang element? Kasi, nung una sabi natin, these atoms has mass, may bigat sila. So, paano natin malalaman yung bigat ng atoms na ito na nasa isang elements? Or ng mga parts ng atom na proton, neutrons, and electrons na nasa isang element. Paano natin malalaman? So, open your modules on page, what page is it? Okay, open your modules on page 94. So, on page 94, we have here the formula for mass number. The mass number, by the way, if you are looking in a periodic table, it is located in the upper left side of the element. For example, this is the name of the element. So we have here a tiny number here on the upper left part of the name of the element, or rather the symbol of the element. And we also have here the smaller number here, or smaller number in the lower side of the element. So this is the atomic number, and this is the atomic weight or the atomic mass. Okay, so now it says that the mass number of an atom is composed by the number of protons and the number of neutrons that is found in that certain element. For example, we have here the oxygen. The mass number or atomic mass number of oxygen is 16. It means that the neutrons and protons of that element is 8. Why? So if we are looking for the number of protons, number of electrons, and number of neutrons in a particular element, we can first compute for the number of neutrons. Paano natin yan gagawin? So una, tignan natin yung mass number of an element. For example, oxygen, the mass number of oxygen is 16. Atomic number of oxygen is 8. So 16 subtract 8 or minus 8, and the number of neutrons of oxygen is 8. So now we have the number for neutrons. Okay, so it says that number of protons is also the number of electrons. Yan. Para makuha natin yung protons, meron na tayong number of neutrons dun sa oxygen, which is 8. Diba? So, para makuha natin yung protons, we can also subtract the mass number. Mass number is a 16. Minus natin yung nakuha natin na number of protons, which is 8. So, 16 minus 8 is 8. So, the number of protons here is 8. And it says that the number of electrons is the same. Pareho lang sila ng protons. So, kung ang protons ay 8, ang neutrons naman ay tama. 8 din sila. So, just like katulad ng nasa page 94 ng modules ninyo, atomic number of oxygen is 8. Ang atomic mass niya ay 16. Number of protons, neutrons, and electrons are all 8. Because of the formula for mass number of neutrons are computed using those formulas.
A few moments later.
So for computing the protons, electrons, and the neutrons, first you need to know the atomic number and atomic mass of a certain atom. For example, the oxygen, which has an atomic number of 8 and an atomic mass of 16. So subtract the 2, then magkakaroon ka na, makukuha mo na yung number of neutrons niya. So pag sinubtract mo yung dalawang yon, atomic mass saka yung atomic number ng element, ang makukuha mo ay ang neutrons na, for example, sa oxygen ay 8. So yan, nakuha mo na yung una, yung neutrons. Paano mo naman makukuha yung protons? Yan, pwede mong i-subtract o i-minus yung number of neutrons sa atomic mass niya. Kagaya nung sa oxygen, ang atomic mass ng oxygen ay 16. So, again, 16 minus 8 ay 8. So, ang protons ng oxygen ay 8. Ang sabi ng rules, protons is equals to electrons. So, pareho lang sila. Kung ano ang number ng protons, yun din ang number ng electrons. So, kung ang number ng protons ay 8, ibig sabihin, ang number of electrons ay tama. 8 din, kasi pareho nga sila. So, meron ka ng number of protons, number of neutrons, at number of electrons. So, ganun yung pagkuha ng number of protons, electrons, and neutrons. Yan. Explain ko din yung activity nyo doon sa page 96. Yung page 96, nandun kasi yung dinidiscuss natin na activity or process. Kung paano magbuha ng protons, neutrons, and electrons. So, dyan, sa activity nyo, naglagay ako ng 9 na klase ng elements. So, I have there, the first one is fluorine, silver, krypton, samarium, iodine, bismuth, and I also have the copper, calcium, and the mercury. So those are the elements that you need to know. Yun yung mga elements na kailangan yung alamin. Ang protons, electrons, at neutrons nila. Tapos, pwede kayong gumamit ng periodic table of elements, o kaya meron din naman nada-download sa phone na mga periodic table of elements na application. Pwede nyo din yung gamitin. Pero, if you don't have any access to those things, kung hindi kayo makakabili ng chart, hindi din kayo makakapag-install ng application sa phone nyo, dito, given naman na ito yung atomic number na sinasabi ko, itong maliit na part dito sa left side, at ito naman sa lower part ng symbol ng element, ito yung atomic mass nila o atomic weight nila, or mass number. So, yan yung gagamitin nyo na data para makuha o malaman yung protons, neutrons, and electrons ng mga elements. So, yun lang po yung week 12 na modules. If ever hindi nyo pa din makuha, hindi nyo pa din, medyo naguguluhan pa din kayo, you can just message me on my messenger account. Mag-PM lang po, kung hindi pa po naiintindihan. And if you have any questions, any clarifications, pwede naman kayo mag-search sa internet ng other information about the topic. And ano pa ba? Yun lang. If you have any questions about this topics, the atom, kung medyo naguguluhan pa din kayo ng konti, kahit madaming hindi pa naiintindihan, mag-message lang po sa messenger ko, and I will answer your questions and queries and all. So yun, mag-message lang po if may mga tanong po sa topic, At yun lamang po. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, and also if you want to hit that little bell there for post notifications, so just ring the bell. Okay, so that's for this video. See you again on my next one. Bye.